Welcome back to the News Channel Nebraska studios for another edition of Coach's Show, brought to you by State Farm. Give Annette Alt a call today to discuss auto, home, life, and renters insurance, as we are starting the show off, as we always do, with Craig Williams of the Columbus Discoverers. It is district starting week coming up this Friday. How are you feeling, Coach Williams?
Well, it's always exciting to get started in districts, and the message with the kids has been everybody gets to start over. It doesn't matter if you're 1-5 or 4-2. That's the two records of the game on Friday. Everything starts over, so it's an exciting time for everybody.
Obviously playing a very good team coming off this loss, but you guys are prepping to get into districts, and you have a good district as far as how you guys match up throughout the rest of the way. How's the team been practicing this week coming off the loss?
Well, it's been kind of tough. Mother Nature wasn't very nice to us last night. The rain doesn't really bother us, but, they don't let us stay out there when it starts lightning. So we had a short practice last night. We actually had a short practice Monday with a JV game going on, and we did have a little run through last Friday, having Friday night off. But so tonight was the first night we really got to go out and get after it, and the kids are doing a nice job. It's a team we haven't played before. They run a very unique offense, and so it's been some. We've really had to concentrate this week to get our work done.
South Sioux City is the team on the horizon. We're going to take a look back at Friday night, where you played a very, very good Scott team. They jumped out on you, and I think it was quite evident that while you guys are doing quite well at 4-2, there's a reason they're the number 3 team in Class B as we take a look at some of the highlights.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you look at this football team, it starts right off there with one of the best catches I've ever seen. I don't care what level you look at, but this team. If they're the third best team in the state, then it's scary for everybody else out there. But right now, the way they're playing, since they lost that game to Elkhorn, if they continue to play like that through the playoffs, they're going to be a tough out.
Physically, how's the team been looking in practice after you come off playing a tough team like this? Obviously, those big physical matchups up on the line and even out on the outside with those big athletes can take a toll when we get later here in the season.
Yeah, and it's something that after you play 6 football games, you're going to have guys with bumps and bruises and tweaks here and there. We've got some sprained ankles that we're trying to nurse through, and some sore backs and things like that. So we just got to find a way to get through them through practice, get the guys enough reps that they can stay sharp on Friday night. And by Friday, it's amazing how Friday rolls around and everybody seems to feel a lot better. So Friday we expect everybody to be ready to go.
You saw Michael Cook on that opening drive for you guys. He busted off a big run, and he was very elusive in the pocket, even though not always getting positive yards. He was going left to right. What does that say? We've talked about it before, but just his athleticism when you have all those athletes on that Skyhawks team that he was still able to run away from quite a bit.
Yeah, and last few weeks, Michael's been able to get away there and then make positive yards after that. And, it's just a credit to Scott and how hard they play and how they rally to the football and how good athletically they are, that when Michael did get away, he had nowhere to go because there was somebody else coming right at him. So, that's just the different levels of the team. And Michael, as he gets into it, he's going to learn when he needs to step out of bounds, when he needs to go down, and when he needs to turn it on and try to make the play. But he does add that dimension to you and gives you the opportunity to make something out of nothing.
Well, I was curious too, when you play a high-level team like this is really when you get the full evaluation of your quarterback and how good they handle things under pressure. At this point in the season, after he's had a couple starts, how do you think he's doing so far?
We're very happy with what he's done, and he didn't throw the ball we didn't throw the ball very much in this football game at all, as a matter of fact. But we came out in that second half and we wanted to run the football, but Michael did a good job running the offense, and you saw in that run in the first quarter when we were down 7-0, he had that long run to set up the field goal, got it to 7-3, and we were in the football game at that time. And just that athleticism he brings is he can be a special player, and we're excited to have him for the rest of this year and all of next year as well. So his evaluation to this point, we're very happy with where he's at. We just need to continue to push him forward.
The 49-10 was that final, as you guys are now 4-2. Coaches, their job's always to take away the positives while also improving on the negatives. So what were the good you took away from that contest against Skyhawks, rather, the Scott team, as you move forward?
Yeah, if you look at the second half, we actually moved the football in the second half. And, we had a nice drive. We got down there and punched it in. And that was against their first team defense. They hadn't subbed anybody out yet. But I think at times we played very physical. Most of the time we played very physical. We just simply got beat by a better football team that night, and that's something you can live with. If you go out and shoot yourself in the foot over and over again, you lose a football game. That that one nags at you. When you go out and you lose to an outstanding team like Scud, and they were just better than our kids on that night, then that's something you can live with, and that's what we told our kids. And as soon as we met after the game, we talked about hitting the reset button that night and coming in on Friday and getting ready for district play.
When you look at the line, that's one of the positions that I would say probably gets banged up the most. Not quite enough to get them out of games, but it's so physical there up front. And with the teams that you've played, and you played some pretty big guys this year, how are they doing, and how's the leadership on the line to kind of keep the guys moving here to the end of the season?
Well, I'll tell you what, on our offensive and defensive line, that's probably where we're the healthiest. Right now, I think we're pretty healthy across the front. We had to play without Jordan Troutman, our starting center, at the beginning of the year for a couple games, and Garrett Kranzler stepped in and did an outstanding job. I mean, better we could ever imagine that he would have done in that spot. And now they're both healthy, so now we've got guys that we can mix in there, and so I'd say right now we're the healthiest we've been all year on the offensive line. It's some of the skill positions we got some tweaked ankles and things like that we've got to kind of nurse through.
Well, certainly a positive as you head into district play. Talking about South Sioux City, where you're traveling on Friday, we always ask, but what is the scouting report? They're coming into this one at 1-5.
Yeah, and they're a dangerous team because of what they do offensively, and they're going to run a double wing, but you haven't seen this tight a double wing before until you see South Sioux City, and they play toe to toe, and they basically get shoulder to shoulder and just try to push the whole line back. That they're running all this motion in the backfield, and you never know who has the football. You think the ball's here, and all of a sudden it squirts out this way. So you've got to be very disciplined, and you got to be very physical with your inside four, so that line doesn't move. Special teams, they do some wild things as well. They actually in 12 kickoffs this year, we've seen 5 of them been onside kicks, so they're gonna make you work. They're gonna do a lot of different things out there, and you got to prepare for it and spend a lot of time preparing for things that you haven't seen before.
Well, when you talk about getting your players prepared for the game this week in practice, how do you keep that energy up, even when you're facing a team that's maybe 1-5, but you need to just keep the energy high? Because if you just go in a game, you can't just show up and win.
Right. You got to try to get the competition high in practice, and put the defense in tough situations, and let the offense have advantages, for the scout team, and see if they can make stops, and that's how you raise the competition.
Well, the Discoverers looking to advance to 5-2 district play on the horizon as they travel to South Sioux City. As always, Coach, wishing you the best of luck. Hopefully when we talk to you next Wednesday, you will be 5-2.
All right, looking forward to it.
Well, that wraps up the first segment here on the Coaches Show. Be sure to stay tuned as the Discoverers look to go on for another Victory Friday. We're going to be hearing from Lakeview head coach Kurt Frenzen as he recaps the rivalry match between the Shamrocks and the Vikings. Stay with us. We'll be back on the Coaches Show on News Channel Nebraska 48.
In Columbus, see your good neighbor State Farm agent Annette Alt for your insurance and financial needs.
Well, I love it. I know, right? I saw it and I was just like, oh, I have to have it.
Is it suede?
Suede. Love suede.
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments, there's one of these.
Well, I love it. I know, right? I saw it and I was like, have to have it. Is it suede? It's suede. I love suede.
That's why we're there with renter's insurance when things go wrong, but also here with a rewards credit card to help life go right. State Farm.
Talk to State Farm agent Annette Alt in Columbus today. State Farm agent Annette Alt can help you find the right level of auto coverage. Call today at 402-564-8581. Rest easy. State Farm agent Annette Alt is there for you. Call 402-564-8581 today for the service you deserve.
Is this my car?
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
This is ridiculous.
there's one of these.
Is this my car? What? This is ridiculous.
This can't be happening.
This can't be happening.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Shut up.
Shut up.
That's why State Farm is there with car insurance for when things go wrong, but also here with car loans to help life go right. State Farm.
Talk to State Farm agent Annette Alt in Columbus today.
second segment of the Coaches Show, again brought to you by State Farm. Give Annette Alt a call today. Discuss auto, home, life, and renters insurance. Joining us for the second segment, Lakeview head coach Kurt Frenzen. Kurt, how are you doing on this fine Wednesday?
Well, we got into the week, and we've had a really physical week of practice, and I think our kids are very set on getting back into a better way of doing things. And we came out last week did not play the football that we are capable of playing, and so I think the kids are really focused on getting things turned around and going in a better way.
Well, I guess losing a tough rivalry match, it's obviously never easy, especially for the seniors, but that's who you look to kind of turn things around. How's the leadership been as you guys look to improve and play a tough GICC team?
Well, we got going early on Monday morning. We actually had practice Monday morning just because of some sub-varsity games this week, so it was a quick turnaround for them, and I thought we had a short team meeting. And back in the day when I first got into coaching, you would take a VCR tape like that, it had that game, and you would take it out back and you would burn it. With all the electronics, you can't really burn that anymore, so we tried to run a magnet over some of this stuff and it wouldn't erase. So we just told the kids we're not going to talk about it, we're not going to actually look at it, we're going to move forward. We know as coaches how we need to prepare our kids. It was more for us as coaches than it was the players. We graded ourselves out this weekend on how we got our kids prepared last week, and I got to tell you, as a coaching staff, we did not get a passing grade. So, we really had a long staff meeting on Sunday on how we want to conduct business and how we want to make sure and get our kids prepared and how we evaluate kids, and I thought we had some good things come out of that. And then I thought our kids embraced that. And then Monday morning we got going on GICC, to be honest with you. So we wasted little time in getting things refocused and going into our next district opponent.
All right, Coach. Well, I'm assuming after that answer will be the last time you see anything from this contest. But we're going to take a look back like we always do. So, again, something you weren't expecting, 20-0 after the first quarter. As we look at some highlights, just your initial thoughts, reactions, besides what you already gave us there on the contest.
Well, up front, we knew it was going to be a tough battle. They've got a good football team, and it starts up front for them, and they're really physical. And they were more physical than us, to be quite honest with you. It wasn't a special plays, it wasn't special recipe. It was they came out and just played harder, played more physical than us. We had some good plays like that. Lane Ager hauling in a long pass. We just didn't have enough of them, and up front, you can see them getting into us, and at times we would get a little seam here or there, but a lot of times we'd shoot ourselves in the foot and we'd have a penalty or just wouldn't, continue. We'd string those plays together. Another play for us defensively by Lane Ager, stepping up and getting an interception. And then we were able to scrape and scratch and claw and get down into their area of the field and put ourselves in position to score at the end of the first half. We actually had a couple different opportunities to maybe get some points. We had a long pitch and catch to Isaac Dreyfus from Jaden Johnson here, and they were able to run us down. Otherwise, we'd been in the end zone. That would have been a huge score for us there. Unfortunately, we didn't end up taking points out of that play. We had a couple miscues down in their area, which really, hurt us. We get that score there, and then we ended up getting the score at the end of the first half. We tried to throw one up here to end that drive to Nick Dolezal. He caught it, but obviously was out of bounds. We did get a score at the end of the first half, but if we would have got that score that you just saw, plus this one that we actually did get, you're looking at 26 or so to 14 at the end of the half. But instead, we didn't get the one score. They came back and busted a trap play. That was a 14-point swing the other direction. We had the ball to start the second half. We went right down and scored. So, you look at things and it's all ifs and buts and candy and nuts. We all understand that. But the thing is, if we do those things, you're looking at 26-21 possibly to start the second half. But again, our opponent came out, played harder and physical than us. And every time we needed to make a play, we didn't, they did. And that was the theme of the night.
Well, you guys played a lot of physical matchups. Fortunately, in the other cases, you guys came out on top. But as we get in this part of the season, get ready for districts, it's football. It's physical. Guys get beat up a little bit. How are you guys feeling kind of on the injury front and health-wise?
Well, we didn't hit anybody hard enough the other night to really put ourselves in a bad situation. And that's, again, not just about our kids. That's about our coaches. We really addressed some issues on how we're preparing them and prepping them. And again, they got into us pretty hard the other night, but we needed to play more physical, and if you play hard and play downhill, good things will happen. We just didn't have that go our way the other night.
Of course, you always want to take bright things away from contest, and something he did quite well was 218 yards through the air. Of course, Nick Dozal leading with over 100 receiving them. How do you take away the passing game against a tough Shamrock defense?
Well, quite honestly, we didn't want to pass the ball that much, and that's not necessarily a knock on our passing game. It's just that we wanted to control the possessions. If we have the ball, they don't, and we wanted to run the ball a lot more effectively the other night. Unfortunately for us, they got up early, and I pretty much could have took my play call sheet and torched it on the sidelines because it was pretty much shot. Our game plan went right out the window, and we really had to address some things. So if I would have had a lighter over there, it probably would have been in flames.
Well, you look forward here to GICC to get 1-5, but a tough team. They've played some good teams down this season and played them close, as we talked a little bit beforehand. What's practice been like? What's the game plan?
Well, the game plan for us is we need to take care of the ball. Obviously, we always say that, and I know it's redundant, but that's a fact. I mean, we have to take care of the football, which we've done a pretty good job of. We need to get some big plays in special teams, which I thought if there was a bright spot the other night, I thought our special teams were pretty decent against SCOTUS. Our punt team came out and we flipped the field on them a couple different times. But again, in credit to SCOTUS, they just flipped it right back with their offense going the other direction. But if there was a bright spot, honestly, to take away, it was our punting game. I thought Jane did a good job in our spread punt and getting the field flipped. But we need that again. And defensively, we really are evaluating our kids, and our kids battled and competed. We pretty much split our team down the middle this week for team defense, and they split reps right down the middle. And we're looking for 11 guys that look at playing defense for Lakeview as an honor, not as just something they check off their weekly list of to-dos. And so that was a lot more competitive this week than it had been in weeks past.
Well, Coach, with 90 seconds to go, obviously an emotional, big game of the rivalry game always is. You didn't come out on the right side of it. How important is it to get back, obviously, on the winning track and get that momentum going heading into the rest of the season?
Well, it's very important. We have a lot of things that we can accomplish yet, and we're really excited to go into these final 3 games. And GICC, if you watch them on film, boy, they play emotional and play hard for a 1-5 team. When you watch them on film, you watch their sidelines, because I always just look at the sideline, see how they're reacting to things. Heck, you think they're 5-1, how they're running around, how they're excited after big plays. So we're walking into a tough game, and I know our kids are prepared for it because they've worked their tails off this week to get back to what is Lakeview football. So we're excited to get going Friday night and get things back on track.
All right, Coach, we'll wrap this one up. Always wishing you the best of luck. Hopefully you'll have another win in the column on Wednesday.
I really appreciate the coverage, guys. Always did a great job the other night, and I know the kids really appreciate it.
And that wraps up another segment of Coach's Show with Lakeview head coach Kurt Frentzen. They'll be taking on Grand Island Central Catholic, looking for another victory in district play. Stay with us here on News Channel Nebraska and Columbus News Team. Coming up next is Shamrock's coach Tyler Linder, as they also are looking to improve with a win next Friday as well. Stay with us on News Channel Nebraska.
Is this my car? State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
This is ridiculous!
there's one of these.
Is this my car? What? This is ridiculous.
This can't be happening!
This can't be happening.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Shut up!
Shut up!
Ah!
That's why State Farm is there, with car insurance for when things go wrong, but also here with car loans to help life go right. State Farm.
Talk to State Farm agent Annette Alt in Columbus today.
And welcome to the third and final segment of the Coach's Show, which is brought to you by State Farm. Give Annette Alt a call today to discuss auto, home life, and renters insurance. With us for the third segment is Shamrock's head coach Tyler Linder, coming off a nice win. How are you doing here today?
Doing very, very well. Thanks for having me in, guys.
All righty, well, let's jump right in. The Shamrocks 4-2 defeated crosstown rival Lakeview last Friday in what most would say was a pretty dominating performance. Did that surprise you, or did it feel like that was what was expected of your team?
Coming into Friday's matchup, I was curious to see what SCOTUS football team would show up. We challenged our boys all week, and I knew that we had the ability to play that well, but we haven't shown it yet this year. And I think we came out guns a-blazing. We had a nice fast start with a great first opening offensive possession, and then we were able to get 7 points on the board. And then on the ensuing drive by Lakeview, we were able to to pick it off and get it right down to the 1 and get 14 points up on them early. And that was a huge momentum swing, and it kind of set charted the course for the rest of the game. And so very happy with the way that our boys started the game on Friday.
And kind of both from a media and fan perspective, because we always enjoy watching all the Columbus teams. We maybe thought the game was going to be a little bit closer. Lakeview's been playing some good ball this year, and it's been a crazy year for the class. These matchups have turned out, for the most part, not how we expected in any of the games that we've seen so far this year. So from your perspective, I mean, what was your thought process coming into the game?
We knew that we had something to prove. We were, we're a good football team. At the time, we were sitting 3-2, and that was kind of a swing game. We were either going to get, back down to 500, or we were going to get on the plus side of things. And, our 2 losses are to arguably the 2 best teams in the class, and so we know that we're right there. We got pretty well humbled in those games, but this was really a statement game for our program and for our boys, especially our seniors. Our seniors have never ever lost to Lakeview on a football field ever, and so that's an awesome accomplishment that they can now hang their hats on. But what I was most impressed with was the way we started and the step that we made as a program. Coming out fast, executing on all cylinders, and just putting together a great game plan. And I think our, much of that, credit goes to my coaching staff. They're phenomenal guys, but tip the cap to our kids. They came out and played with a lot of fire the other night.
And this being the 3rd Shamrocks contest we've broadcasted this year thus far, you saw some of that reminiscent from last year's team, those big runs that you guys broke off. You had, I believe it was Strecker for 69 yards at the end of the half. You had Anthony Cush for 87 plus, but that's what we saw a lot last year. And was this really the first game that you saw those big runs happening and you making those big plays? Of course, Shohan also had 150 plus on the ground.
Yeah, we're getting back to where we want to be offensively in particular, and a lot of that is possible with the way that we run our defense. We don't necessarily play our best defensive guys on defense because we want them fresh for offense. And you saw that in an explosive, offensive performance the other night. So, a lot of our best defensive linemen, don't play D-line because we want them fresh for the O-line. And, I'm a firm believer that even your second string defensive lineman is going to be a better defensive lineman, right, if he's at 100% than a tired, first teamer. And so I was really impressed with especially the guys up front winning the battle of the trenches, and that really paved the way, I think, for our offense. Our fresh offensive line were able to block and open up holes for lots of different guys, and that's another big thing that we have going is the fact that we have so many guys that can carry the ball and that we trust to make plays. You got Tyler Palmer at the helm of things that can throw and run really well. You've got Anthony Cush, Evan Shohan. I got 3 fullbacks that I can rotate. Luke Jarecki. There's a lot of options there, and not to mention Dalton Taylor out on the edge. So we have a lot of playmakers, and it's the job of our coaching staff, especially Coach Pellon, to distribute the ball well, and that just keeps teams honest, and it keeps them kind of off guard. And so we're very, very blessed as a program to have such a dynamic, and it's really, really exciting, not only distributing the ball that well, but how excited our guys are for one another, right? We don't have guys that have to get 100 yards a game, or guys that want the ball 20 times a game. We got running backs that will block their tails off for the guy across the formation for him because they know that he's going to do it for them. And so that's really the best thing about our offense is the brotherhood that we have and the ability to distribute as well as we can.
When you talk about high school football, and I remember this even back when I was playing, the focus is really districts. And, everything leading up to districts is obviously important too, getting those wins, playing strong, and that can carry your team into districts, but districts in Nebraska is really the soul of the season. So as you guys focus here and come off of a rivalry win, what's the environment like at practice?
We're excited. We're starting to play SCOTUS football again. And so our kids feel that. They know what it's like to be in close, tough games, but we also know what it's like when we play extremely well. And you want to be playing well during districts. And, we were talking before the show that, obviously we want to be 1-0 every single week, but we can't look at PowerPoints and those sorts of things and try to figure out, can we make it if this happens? We got to control us, and we have to control winning every single game. And we don't have to worry about PowerPoints if we take care of just that. You win your district, you're in the playoffs, and that's our ultimate goal. And so in order to stay on track and stay on course, we have to be 1-0 every single week. And so we're gearing up for a very talented Ord team that's 4-2. They're coming off of a disappointing loss to Boone Central, so they're going to be very hungry coming into Columbus on Friday.
And speaking of that Ord contest, what you have to expect from the Chanticleers, but also you mentioned the playmakers. We saw another freshman, Palmer, of course, the quarterback, but Mustard was getting rotated in, getting some carries as well. So what does he bring in as you're bringing some younger guys in? And again, if you'd like to touch on what you're expecting from Ord, and I guess if you see Mustard getting some more carries in this contest.
Yeah, Eric's another freshman that we have that's starting to gain our trust a little bit more. He started the year by kind of rotating in on defense, and we really like what we saw, but he really kind of caught the attention of the coaching staff as he was running kind of scout team stuff. And from a defensive perspective, I coach the middle linebackers. You can't find the guy because he's so low to the ground and so small. So that was one thing that we talked about as a coaching staff, was getting him the ball really quick on our traps and being able to get 3, 4, 5 yards of carry before anybody even sees him. And so he's going to be a very, very vital aspect of our offense and defense going forward. And so that's really the big thing about our program is we have the ability to bring guys up and they get their shot on scout team. And so our scout team this week is going to be huge, preparing for a very talented Ord team. They've got some skill guys that I think are some of the most impressive in our class. Their offense is predicated on slinging the ball around, getting playmakers the ball in space. And so we've got to play discipline-inspired defense to take down a very talented Ord team.
And how's the team, as far as the seniors and juniors, been receptive to those freshmen getting that play time? Obviously, having Palmer at the beginning of the season is an adjustment they have to make and accept because he's coming into the starting QB position, and that is such a vital role, obviously, on any team. But then getting some other freshmen and some young guys in there as well, has the team seemed to stay molded together? Because that's key when you get towards playoffs.
Yeah, your question is spot on. I think that can be a good thing or a bad thing. It could be a uniting thing or a divisive type of a thing. But all signs point to being a unifying front. I think bringing those freshmen on board this year, as opposed to things that we've done in the past, has really brought our team, I think, a little bit closer together. Right? It's inspired our younger guys to get better every single day, and it's really challenged our older guys and kind of put the thought in the back of their mind that the coaches are going to play the best guys regardless of class. And so there's no such thing as upperclassmen privileges in our program. Our job is to maintain and continue to build and execute a program, but ultimately to just keep us going in the future. So very excited for those young guys.
Well, Coach, wishing you the best of luck. The Shamrocks taking on Ord in a big district matchup coming up on Friday at Pawnee Park. That wraps up the Coaches Show, and we will see you next week.
Well, I love it. I know, right? I saw it and I was just like, oh, I have to have it.
Is it suede?
Suede. Love suede.
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments, there's one of these.
Well, I love it. I know, right? I saw it and I was like, have to have it. Is it suede? It's suede. I love suede.
That's why we're there with renter's insurance when things go wrong, but also here with a rewards credit card to help life go right. State Farm.
Talk to State Farm agent Annette Alt in Columbus today.
Is this my car?
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
This is ridiculous.
there's one of these.
Is this my car? What? This is ridiculous.
This can't be happening.
This can't be happening.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Shut up.
Shut up.
That's why State Farm is there with car insurance for when things go wrong, but also here with car loans to help life go right. State Farm.
Talk to State Farm agent Annette Alt in Columbus today. State Farm agent Annette Alt can help you find the right level of auto coverage. Call today at 402-564-8581. Rest easy. State Farm agent Annette Alt is there for you. Call 402-564-8581 today for the service you deserve.